Hey, so I left a debug message on. I had to restart this video. Um, I added something new to the Melee script because 4.25 has been an easy port so far. It's in Preview 2 now. I added an enum to select center of mass settings, whether you want it to be at the primary hand, whether you want it to be in between the hands, whether you want to keep the normal weapon center of mass. You can visualize that as normal with vr.draw debug center of mass console command. Also, I added a primary hand selection enum where you can choose rear hand, front hand, or whichever hand is socketed, which, oops, I was tracking. I still need to clean up my basement after my move, which comes in handy with this shield, for instance, because the shield has a socket on it, and it'll choose primary hand to whichever socketed, so the secondary hand won't put as much force in. By the way, I did add the shield as well. If you want to do some shield bashing and stuff, it's actually pretty fun. Something you probably noticed by now is somebody specifically wanted an example of auto snapping a hand mesh to your grip, and I gave them a brief description, and I think it was a little confusing. So I went ahead and made an example today, and while doing the example, I also implemented an example of something else people were talking about. It's just a really naive, bare bones way of doing hands that curl in and grab things. You would normally want to use full poses because there's a lot of edge cases for things like this, but it's kind of neat as an experiment to do this kind of thing, you know? So if you go into the template character now and choose and turn on the Boolean B use grasping hands, it'll hide the other two, the procedural mesh hands and the normal hands, and it'll use these. And these are just a mock-up. I mean, I did this today. It's not anywhere near as complete as I would like. I mean, I would like to do full hand collision with them eventually, but I got a lot of things on my plate and to-dos right now. So anyways, it auto-adjusts and attaches itself when you go to grab something, and it will attach itself at the actual relative to the object to where the grip is. So if it's on a snap, this is gonna be ugly because there's no default pose for these. But see how it automatically keeps the correct grip to the dagger? Yeah. It automatically keeps the correct grip to the dagger. It's because I'm figuring out the grip pose by taking the inverse transform of where it's supposed to be relative to the controller, and then snapping and attaching the hand to the object then there. It's pretty simple. I just needed to give somebody an example of it because they were having a bit of a problem with it. So if you were to use, a finger poser or something, that plugin for posing hands on the marketplace, you could use this kind of attachment to make it sure that it goes on to objects correctly. Because I wouldn't use this curl setup. It's too many edge cases and issues with it, but it's nice for a brief little test and stuff, you know. I also exampled a couple other things in here that people were asking about, so it's a pretty useful little script to have for people to look at. That's it pretty much, though. Most have been cleaning up Melee stuff. I need some more feedback on it, on anything else that people need. I mean, it's working okay now. And then I got my other projects I need to get to. I need to keep porting 4.25 as new versions of it come out. It's been a really light port so far. It was pretty easy. I have to go into, I don't know, around 45% of the engine source files and check them for changes every single new engine version because of how much I've had to edit with this plugin. So usually it's pretty painful to update, but this was pretty nice. There wasn't that many actual updates to deal with. So, hey, I'll take that. Anyways, I'll see you around. I hope you all are waiting happily for Half-Life Alyx, because I am. I can't wait to try that. I have high hopes for that game compared to pretty much everything else I've tried. So, hey, maybe next time we talk, we'll have all tried it. See ya.